Hi, today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about cleansing crystals using white sage. It's a traditional technique, and white sage is not just used for cleansing crystals, but you can use it to cleanse auras or spaces. This is white sage. This is the piece that I'm using today, which has already been used a little bit before. This is a fresh white sage which is completely unused. It's made into bundles from the plant, and then you light the bundle. So this is a way to do it here. And the belief is, the idea is that the smoke of the white sage is very, very pure in its energy, and it helps to embody what one calls the sage spirits, the spirits of the sage plant. And you ask them, as you waft the smoke across the crystal, to embody or to take up any negative energy that the crystal may have absorbed from the crystal into the smoke, and then the smoke rises and leaves, taking the energy with it, and the sage spirits take the energy away into the light, because otherwise the crystal that's holding on to any energy doesn't have anywhere for that energy to go. So it's a very simple process. There is a handing over, as it were, to the power of the sage spirits, so we're not holding on to anything ourselves. We don't have to do anything beyond ask. Now, I'm using a whole bunch of sage here, but you can also use a leaf, which is sometimes easier or more, it's no more or less effective, but it's sometimes a little bit more efficient in terms of the amount of sage that you use. So here, for example, is just a little piece of sage that I've broken off. You can see the amount of smoke that comes off it. It's quite a lot, actually. We just let the smoke continue to surround the crystal, taking not only from the crystal but from its aura, in the same way you would with a person, any negative energy that it might be holding on to or trying to deal with. Just make a point here as well that sometimes crystals can just need cleansing because they've absorbed energy which needs to be moved on. But sometimes crystals are full of energy which isn't necessarily the most light of energies, but it's because the crystal is actually dealing with that energy. It's not because it's stuck in the crystal, it's being processed by the crystal. So if you try and cleanse the crystal when it's doing that, you may not get the same result in terms of it feeling cleansed afterwards, because the crystal's doing its job. It's got to take the energy in and transmute it. So just a little word about that. This, and it's very important to remember, people use sage, this is a very sacred substance, this white sage, and so it should always be used with great respect, and rather than telling it what to do, you should always ask. Ask for it to help. You will get the help though. It's a beautiful thing, and that's smudging like that, in a really simple way. But it's so important to cleanse your crystals on a reasonably regular basis. Don't cleanse them into, don't scrub them clean every day, but if they're doing work for you, it's good to help them out. And this is a very nice way to do it, and to honour the earth from which they come, and to help the earth to interact with them. Make sure that's out. Obviously, if you're using fire, which you are, you need to be careful to make sure that anything is out afterwards, no fire risk, etc., etc. Keep away from curtains and the like. So this crystal is now, I can feel it, and it actually does feel more cleansed, more clear, ready to do more work, and to be more balanced. That's all I really got to say today about that. It might sound a bit simple to do, but I just think it's important to have these basic techniques in your mind when you're working about it and to work. One thing to say that, I mean, I haven't got one here, but it's quite often, or some people say anyway, that you can use using a feather rather than your hand is better when you're smudging, rather than directly touching the smoke yourself. I'm not sure whether that, I think it's a matter of choice. I have a beautiful crow feather fan from America given to me by a friend at home, which is wonderful. But as long as the intent is right, when you're using your hand to spread the smoke, then I think that's absolutely fine. And to say, it will still cleanse the crystal beautifully. You can, because this crystal, and I'm just giving you this crystal as an example, this crystal's energy is spread between heaven and earth, like everything else. Yeah, between the sky and the earth, if you want to put it in a more pagan way. And so it's nice to, in your picturing of what you're doing, to include that all-encompassing grasp of the cleansing process. It's not necessary to try and do what the sage spirits are doing, because you ask them to do that, and they will get on with it. But if when you're holding the sage, and you're using your hand gently to spread the smoke, you can imagine it almost like a wing that's moving, flapping between heaven and earth, clearing the whole space that relates to this crystal. And the only other thing I would say is be calm and gentle when you're doing smudging. If you're angry or in a bad mood, it won't work. Yeah. There's no great, you won't find it more effective to smudge if you're being really fast about it. So if you're doing that, that's not going to work any better than just being gentle. Yeah. So I hope that's of help. It's one technique for cleansing crystals, it's not the only one. I find with my own crystals that sometimes it feels right to cleanse them with sage, sometimes with water, sometimes put them on the earth, by a plant pot or outside. It depends on the situation, and without being able to name it, it depends on what the crystal's trying to shift. But you'll find your own way. We all do. I hope this has been of help and you've enjoyed it. Have a great day.